It's college football's championship Saturday. We have 3 conference championship games today with big playoff implications. Michigan State takes on Iowa in the Big Ten. North Carolina looks to knock off #1 Clemson in the ACC, and Florida tries to ruin Alabama's national title dreams in the SEC championship game. You can see that matchup here on CBS.
Joining us to break it all down from the Georgia Dome in Atlanta are CBS Sports Adam Zucker, Rick Neuheisel, and Brian Jones. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
How's it going?
There you are at the battleship. Let's start with a big battle. The game between #2 Alabama and #18 Florida, the SEC championship game, which you guys are covering. Alabama has won 9 in a row. Can Florida stop this?
Oh, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. The expectations would be that the tide is going to continue to roll, as their fans would like to say, roll tide. Derrick Henry's been unstoppable, closing in on 2,000 yards if he keeps his average up. 4 200-yard games in his last 6 efforts out there. They're going to have to empty the bucket, get some turnovers. That Florida defense is going to, that's been great all year, is going to have to really step up to make something happen here. You
know, BJ, he mentions Florida defense, and he also mentioned Derrick Henry, who's a front runner for the Heisman. What do you think has to be done to slow him down?
Well, they got to tackle. That's going to be imperative that they make sure they wrap this big bruising bulldozing of a running back, wrap him up, get him to the ground. If you can't get him to the ground, hold him up so the rest of your mates can join in on the fun and try to wrestle him to the ground, because he's like your mate there, Anthony Mason. You know, he never gets tired. In the first quarter, he's averaging about 6.1 yards per carry. In the fourth quarter, 6.4 yards per carry. So it's going to take him all afternoon to corral this guy and make sure you bring that same mindset and you hustle to the ball for 4 quarters if you're going to stop big Derrick Henry.
Does anybody there think that Florida can pull this off?
Crazier things have happened.
Absolutely, they can do it.
The Goonies got One-Eyed Willie's treasure somehow, right? I mean, it could happen.
Here's
turnovers,
here's what you know about Florida. They're going to pull out all the stops. They haven't had a great kicker this year. They actually even went to the dental school to find a kicker. and now what they've got to do is they're going to go for it on 4th down. You're going to see some things that are outside conventional here by Jim McElwain today, because everybody expects Alabama, as Adam said, to roll. But I think Florida is going to have something to say about it.
And along with Alabama's great defense, you know, Florida defense, they're top 5 in scoring, they're top 5 in sacks, and so this is a defense that's going to come with a lot of pride, and they're going to show, hey, we can stand toe-to-toe with big, bad Alabama, but can they do it for the long haul? And to Rick's point, offensively, they've got to just throw everything on the wall to try to generate some offense.
Because even when they had Will Greer, it was based around a lot of short passes, quick releases, and we've seen Treon Harris make a lot of mistakes, and twice last week get stopped inside the red zone when they went for it on 4th down, like we're talking about them doing. The offense has really backtracked. Their offensive line has allowed the most sacks in the conference, and Alabama has the most.
All right, guys, let's talk about who makes the national championship game, because now, BJ, when me and Mr. Jones were talking at the beginning of the season, you said, and I quote, Ohio State repeats Anthony. Any change on that?
You remember everything, don't you? What are
That's
you,
my job, BJ. That's why I'm here.
At 2, Brute? Really? Hey, listen, I think Michigan State's going to knock off Iowa. That's going to be a competitive ball game, so they jump into the mix, and you'll have Clemson, Bama, Oklahoma, and Michigan State. Now, in that round robin, wow, I really want to lean on Alabama and say they would win the whole thing, but Baker Mayfield, he can make this thing really interesting, the quarterback for Oklahoma. He has really brought a great element to that offensive side of the ball for the Sooners. So I'm gonna say Bama wins it.
I'm going to say Oklahoma wins it. I think, just as Brian said, and it's hard for me to agree with him, Baker Mayfield has been a absolute elixir for this Sooner offense, and also they get a rest. They get this week off. I think they're already in the tournament. I think it's going to come down to the Tide and the Sooners, and I think the Sooners are the more complete offense.
The Tide and the Sooners, who right now would be 2 and 3. We'll see if the playoff rankings end up changing one more time. I think Bama and Oklahoma could end up seeing each other in that final instead of the semifinal, even if they put Oklahoma down to that 4 spot and move Alabama up to #1. So we'll see how that shakes out.
Not that we would accuse the committee of any shenanigans of any sort.
No,
never.
It's all about the eye test. It's amazing CBS didn't sponsor that.
All right, Adam, Brian, Rick, the law firm of Zucker, Jones, and Neuheisel, thank you very much for joining us. Have fun in the Georgia Dome. A reminder, you can catch the big SEC championship game between Florida and Alabama right here on CBS CBS at 4 p.m. Eastern. Studio coverage begins at 3 p.m. live at the Georgia Dome.